In this tutorial, I'm going to go over using adjustment layers and some more layer blending modes to further enhance our collage and make it seem more realistic. So adjustment layers, you usually will find them under the adjustments panel here. And then if you hover over each of these little icons, you'll see a word appear here that lets you do different things. And when you bring one of these in, say I bring in a brightness and contrast layer, when I bring it in, it creates a new layer, and then I have a property here that I can adjust. So if I adjust the brightness, I'm just going to make it really intense for a second so we can see. This is affecting every layer directly below it. So right now it is not affecting Webster, but it is affecting the shell and the background. If I were to move it up a layer, it would also affect the dog. And if I remove it down some, it would only affect the background. So the layer order is important. You can also make this just affect a single layer by putting it directly above it, and then either clicking the clipping mask option here, or control clicking or right clicking and saying create clipping mask. And what that will do is that will make it apply only to one layer. Now in this case, I actually do want to do a brightness contrast layer on the dog here. But that's because I just want to make it actually slightly darker. And if you want to see the effect that's happening, you can always click the eyeball on the layer. So you can see just a tiny bit darker. And then the other thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to make this background a little bit bluer. So I'm going to click on this layer, then I'm going to go click on adjustments, and in this case I'm going to add, you can add a couple different options here, but in this case I'm going to add a color balance layer and just make it bluer and more cyan and maybe a little bit greener, so we have like a really kind of intense background color. And this is a way again to kind of make different images that are going to be photographed in different ways, in different lighting, with different colors. We can start to bring them together by combining all of these colors together to make them all seem like they go together more clearly. And again, we can reduce the opacity of some of these. That will, lessen their effect. And in some cases, we might want to do a really intense color balance on one layer and then maybe a more subtle color balance on another layer, and that will just help unify these again. So right now this is a global, but to make it just affect this oyster shell, I can click the clipping mask option, and now I'm giving everything just maybe a tiny bit of a blue or a cyan tint, just to make everything fit together a little bit more. And that is the use of adjustment layers to refine your photo collage.